Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm going to talk about how Napoleon's defeat at this famous battle made him a more popular leader of France.
Hola, me llama Darren, and guess what? On the original Cinco de Mayo, no one was eating tacos.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I have the perfect story for this episode.
How are all of these stories going to relate to Cinco de Mayo? Find out in this week's episode of History Bluffs. Welcome to another episode lesson of History Bluffs, where truth is stranger than fiction. Now I want to welcome to the show, it's your host, Gina.
Hi. Oh, wait, I look so different.
No, there you go. That's Gina right there.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gina. How are you? Hola. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Almost, actually, it's really Cinco de Trace, I guess.
It's the week of de Mayo, Cinco,
Yes.
so it works out.
But hello to all of our Mexican friends and all of the other people listening and or watching, tuning in, as it were. We are going to play today, and we're going to play a game called History Bluffs. And we would love for you to play along from the comment section if you're watching this in the live stream. If you're listening to this on a podcast, play along with your friends. We're going to we're going to tell you stories that are related to Cinco de Mayo. And the fun part about this show, it's called History Bluffs, which means that we are going to be telling two stories that are absolutely true and one story that is completely a bluff just to trick you. And your job is, as the audience, is just to figure out which one of us is actually bluffing. So, Adam, this is a game show, and I'd love to tell the audience a few of the rules so that they can play along. And if you throw that rule card up, I'll talk over it and tell people how it goes.
All right, for those watching, you will see the title card now. For those listening, just listen along.
So you already heard the concept of the show. Just to let you know, anybody who's telling a true story, all of their facts must be just that, a fact. The bluff can have some facts in their story, maybe to bookend it and help it along, but the most or in their entire story would be a bluff. Please don't help if you're watching from home. No audience help if you don't mind. If you Google something, please don't give away the story. But other than that, we are all set to go. That's pretty much those are the only rules of the game. After that, it's game on. I'm telling you.
That's it. They love the rules. They love them.
So I just want to say hello to our actors here that are going to be telling you the stories. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you, Gina. How are you?
Good. Did you hear about the golfer named Juan who was injured on the job?
Oh, no.
No, I did not. What happened to Juan the golfer on the job?
He was hurt by a golf gun. There was a hole in Juan.
Wow.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hey, I see you shaking your head no a lot. That makes me sad. I thought it was funny.
I'm just stretching my neck.
Okay, good.
He's limbering up.
So hello, Chris. How was your day so far?
My day is, I'm thrilled to be on this show. Let's just say that.
Okay, very
That's
cool.
a great place to start.
Very nice. Darren, let's move Darren to the center square. Hi,
Gina.
Darren.
Oh, let's do it. Hey, it's Darren.
What's up, Darren? Yo quiero, he says.
Yo quiero.
He wants.
Yo quiero. He wants.
I want.
So, hey, Darren.
Hey, Gina.
Why did the Mexican man throw his wife off of a hill?
I don't know. Why did the Mexican man throw his wife off of the hill, Gina?
Tequila. Get it, tequila her? Anyway, how was your day?
Oh, I love that song. Pee Wee Herman did it.
I know.
Yes, he did. And that is a fact from History Bluffs.
It is.
Yes. Do you have a favorite kind of tequila? I know you enjoy a cocktail from time to time.
The tequila that is placed in front of me would be my favorite.
Good answer. Good answer.
I think that's,
well, I'm done with you, so let's move on to Drew. Want to say hello, Drew? Drew?
Hello.
Hi. Is this your first show with us? This is the first time you're debut.
Second show.
Oh, this is your second show. Very nice. Sorry about that. So when you start doing History Bluffs a lot, you will understand that one of my favorite movies in the whole world is Titanic. And Did you know the Titanic on their maiden voyage was also delivering a great deal of Hellman's mayonnaise to the United States as well? So that sank along with it. Do you know what they called that moment in time?
I bet you're going to tell me.
Cinco de Mayo.
That's 2 trombones. That's one more than a show allows.
Oh, I already got true trombone. Well, how are you there, associate historian? Doing well? Besides that joke.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. This is exciting.
Yay, that's very cool. It's light there, but it's light here too. I was just thinking, wait, you're in Chicago, correct?
I'm in Chicago.
Okay, it will start to get dark as we do this show over here, but not there, right?
I just heard the L go by because I'm near.
Oh, next will be the M. How fun. Okay.
That's how it works.
So that is all. I just wanted to say hi and introduce everybody. Now we're going to just play. So the way this game works, we're going to have 3 rounds. The first round will be 75 seconds. The first historian to go will end at the buzzer, and then the other historians will get to pick apart their story. So we're going to actually start in the order that I see you on the screen. So we'll have Drew go first. So Adam, if you would. Adam, our tech, everybody. Yay.
Oh,
Adam.
hey. Yeah, I'm here. I'm right here. I'll be here the whole time helping you
You'll
out.
be here the whole time. We can't see you, but you're sure going to make us look and sound good.
I'm going to try.
You can try. Okay, well, let's move Drew to the center. And Drew, I'm going to have you start your first round as soon as you hear the boom, okay?
Oh, wow. That means we are going into round number 1.
Yep. You speak
Here we
truth,
are.
Adam.
Here
You
we
speak
are.
truth. All
That
right.
is the marker. So let's get the Round Tracker 9000 up, shall we, Gina? Boom.
Yes, because everybody gets 1 time to speak during each round. There will be 3 rounds in total.
That's
And Drew,
9.
you can.
That's
Does
9
what?
segments.
9
We're
whole
doing-
segments.
Hey, this is history, not math.
I know. This is too hard already. All right. Drew, please go ahead whenever you hear the boom.
Even casual baseball fans should know who Cy Young is. In case you don't, Cy Young pitched in the major leagues from 1890 to 1911 with several teams, including the Boston Americans, aka Red Sox, and the St. Louis Cardinals. He was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1937, and in addition to being one of the best pitchers of all time, he's considered to be the pioneer of modern-day baseball pitching, having played from the early days of professional ball into its modern era. They even named an award after the guy. Since 1956, the Cy Young Award has been given to the best pitcher in the major leagues. Cy Young holds many Major League Baseball records still today, which is amazing considering how many greats have played since 1911. He holds the record for career wins, innings pitched, games started, complete games. And he also led the league in wins 5 times, had the lowest ERA twice, and he led the league in strikeouts twice. Cy Young pitched 3 no-hitters during his career, including the first perfect game ever in the modern era. Now, you're probably thinking, Drew, what does any of this have to do with Cinco de Mayo? Well, it just so happens that that perfect game was pitched on May 5th, 1904.
Boom! Mic drop. Very well timed. All right. I was going to ask you that exact question, so I'm so glad you said that. I'm going to go to Darren right now. And Darren, I would love your thoughts on Drew's story. Is he bluffing? Is he truthing? What's happening?
Well, I do know that if you take your middle finger and your index finger and you grip them on the side of the baseball and you throw it just right, you throw a Cinco. It drops right down.
That didn't get a trombone. What the hell?
They're all used up.
They're all used up. I broke them all.
Oh,
That
that
made
was
me
very
sigh.
funny. Was that Drew?
That made me sigh.
Yeah. Cy Young.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Oh, okay. That's
All right, Chris. Chris is still shaking his head. We're gonna make Chris shake his head the whole show.
I have a feeling you are going to make me shake my head the whole show.
he's so.
I admire Drew for throwing out he uses the classic History Bluffs technique of just bombarding us with facts, and
Just
throwing out all
pitching them at us.
pitching them at us, left-handed and right-handed. That basically the only thing you didn't say about Cy Young was that he was ambidextrous, an ambidextrous pitcher.
Wow.
He was. I like how there's a little bit of a hint of a potential bluff in Drew's story because he talked about the era in which he pitched from the 1800s into 1905, and then he called him a pioneer of modern pitching. Ooh.
Ooh,
Maybe that's
as
a
in-
little line, a little through line right there to his bluff.
Ooh, so they didn't have baseball in medieval times, but just in the modern era. I don't know. Do we still count as the modern era? I'm not sure. But all I know is that Chris has actually confirmed that this Cy Young guy actually exists. So already winning, Drew. I mean,
that was a giveaway.
That was a giveaway. All right, so that means that we're going to have to move to somebody else because Drew has told the story. Drew has been picked apart and confirmed. And we're going to now go to Chris. Chris, I would love to hear your first part of your story right after the boom.
Okay. So, born on April 20th, 1808 in Paris, Charles Louis Napoleon Bonaparte was the third son of Napoleon I's brother. Napoleon I, of course, is Napoleon that we all know. With the hand in the vest, he lost a battle at Waterloo. But his brother, Louis Bonaparte, and his wife, Hortense de Beauharnais Bonaparte. Louis Bonaparte served as King of Holland. Hortense was the stepdaughter of Napoleon I. Louis and Hortense had been made the king and queen of French-controlled Holland by Napoleon I, his uncle. But after Napoleon was deposed in 1850, all the members of the Bonaparte dynasty were forced into exile. Bring us back now to Charles Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. Charles Louis Napoleon, when he was a young man, he settled in Italy after their whole family was sent to exile. And here he became interested in history and ideas of national liberty, and he had these thoughts of regaining control of France. He and his older brother, Napoleon Louis, began talking about liberal politics and joining this revolutionary group fighting papal control over northern Italy. The brothers fled in March of 1831 when Italian troops began cracking down on revolutionary stuff, and Napoleon Louis died in Louis Napoleon's arms during their escape.
So the first question that comes to mind is, did his wife go with him? Because if she didn't, then they would have to bone apart.
Jeez. Wow.
It's happening, people.
I'm gonna summon some trombones here, I swear.
I know, you need another sound effect that's the equivalent. A lot of them. Darren, thoughts on Chris's story so far? And also, what does it have to do with Cinco de Mayo?
Before we get to Chris's story, I'm just amazed at the quantity and quality of the puns coming out without the aid of any tequila. It's really astonishing. That I know of. That's true. I mean, I'm going on a cruise that goes to that area of the world this fall, and I will know in a few months if Chris is saying anything that's true.
We'll find out.
I like that strategy. I'm not going to call you a bluff for a few months.
He defers his accusation.
But none of it has anything to do with Mexico, so I have no idea what's happening yet.
Ooh, Chris raises a finger as if just you wait, people. And Drew, I would like to go to you. What are your thoughts on Chris's story thus far?
Yeah, I don't know if it was his spot-on French accent that. But I found this story is very complex. I would say it's like a Napoleon complex.
Drew, I
does fall
cast
a
the
little
torch
short.
to you. What is that, Darren?
It does fall a little short so far.
Oh my God.
And in my heart, that was funny. Okay, so
You guys are killing me today.
well, then why don't you give us any more trombones, Adam?
All right.
We're deserving them.
We're gonna open the
Quite
trombones.
freely, I might add.
True that.
All right, so thank you so much, Chris, for your part of the story. That only leaves one other person for the first round, and that's you, Darren.
Hey.
Darren, yo quiero you in the center square, and you can start at the boom.
Okay. Buenos noches and happy Tres de Mayo. That's right, amigos. It's Cinco de Mayo Eve. And so in just 2 days,
He's not wrong.
Mexican Santa Claus will slide down the chimney and fill your stockings with tacos. So just be sure to put on your holiday sombrero and leave a bottle of reposado tequila out by the fireplace or some Coronas, okay? Okay, that's all BS. But so is the modern day American commercialized holiday celebration that we call Cinco de Mayo. Most Americans believe May 5th is Mexican Independence Day, which it's not. That's September 16th, or 16 Septiembre. Thank you.
Perfect.
Cinco de Mayo actually celebrates a victory over the French army at Puebla on May 5th, 1862. And don't ask me to say 1862 in Spanish. But the thing is, tacos, as we know them now, didn't even exist then. So any Mexicans who were celebrating the victory that day weren't eating tacos. And so where did tacos come from? Well, I'll give you some delicious details about that in the next segment.
Oh my goodness. I am floored by this because I freaking love tacos and that's what I associate them with. So I can't wait to hear more unless you're bluffing. Drew, what are your thoughts so far on Darren's little story about tacos?
Yeah. First of all, that accent is right up there with Chris's French accent. So, the end. But yeah, I'm all ears. I want to know about these tacos.
As do we
Okay,
all.
yes, he has finished tacoing. So,
There's a Chihuahua involved. I hope.
yes, Yokir. Oh, I get it now. Yokir, that was clever. Very, very clever, Darren. Hey, Chris, I would like your thoughts on Darren's story, please.
Okay, I believe that we may need to take a little break so Darren could eat because he's starving. He said, "Bueno nachos," not "bueno nachos." He said, "Bueno nachos" is an opening. And he thought about tacos. But the most offensive thing to me was that he put an I in his version of September. It's Septembre, not Septiembre, or whatever it was that you said. You even said the P, Septiembre. So clearly, Darren is suffering from a hunger fever. He's missing some facts in his story so far, and we need to get him some tequila and some nachos and some tacos so he can come
I
back.
do not disagree with that last statement.
Very nice. So at this point in the show, I think that we have we've not yet had any accusations except sort of to Drew, but then there was also sort of a fact component that was confirmed. So I don't know who's bluffing just yet. And so we shall now go on to the next round to see what's going to happen. So Adam, take us away.
Let's go to round number 2.
Okay, this is the round where the time gets a little bit shorter. The 15 seconds was taken off the clock. Will be taken off the clock, and we are going to start now. So we started with Drew. Let's start with Chris for this first round of round 2, and go ahead and start at the boom.
Okay, stay with me. After the death in 1832 of his cousin, the Duke of Reichstadt, Napoleon I's only son, Louis Napoleon considered himself next in line for the French throne. He returned to France in October 1836 with an attempt to imitate his uncle Napoleon's 100 Days, in which Napoleon I escaped exile and briefly retook France from Louis XVIII. For Louis Napoleon's effort, he initiated a coup, calling on the local garrison to help him restore the Napoleonic Empire. Instead of joining him, the local troops arrested him. He was expelled and sent to England. He secretly returned to France in 1840 with 50 hired soldiers and attempted yet another coup. The local garrison yet again did not join his efforts and he was arrested. This time, however, he was not exiled but was brought to trial and sentenced to permanent confinement in a fortress. This did not work, and this all leads up to Puebla in 1862 is where we're going in the next round.
Oh,
Sacre bleu!
that was very funny. I think my favorite was when he took the throne. So Darren, please regale us with your thoughts on that particular segment.
Oh my God, I feel like the director Blake and Henry Mancini, I feel like they're all rolling over in their graves right now after listening to it. Not to mention Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers did much better, no offense, Chris.
He's also dead.
I would like to apologize to all of our French listeners at this moment, and perhaps the Mexicans as well.
Here I thought we'd be apologizing to our Mexican-American heritage.
But no,
Here we are apologizing to the French, and here we go.
Exactly. I did not see that coming. Drew, please, your thoughts on that piece of video.
It all happened so fast. I feel like I heard lyrics to Louie Louie in there.
I thought the same thing.
You know, I picked up on something. I found there's some similarities now between Chris and Darren's stories. It's almost like I feel like Chris's story is going to end where Darren's ends. And
Maybe it will.
it's a coincidence. I don't know.
I don't know, Drew, but they did both say Puebla, so that was a very good catch.
We
Although
both did. Yes.
Oh no! Oh no! It's catching.
What's up?
Contagious.
It was contagious. Okay, so this was what really Contagion was based on, not a play at all. It was just
Oh.
a bunch of people pick it up. I think that's really fun, and I really want to go on now to the next person because that was good, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Darren, your time now for your round two begins when you.
I will try to do it in French. We will see.
Oh my God. Here we go.
In a fascinating twist of history, the first known Cinco de Mayo celebration happened the following year when Mexican miners working in California silver mines, now it's not working, fired their guns, set off fireworks, sang patriotic songs, and gave speeches in a spontaneous celebration of Mexico's defeat of France. And even though they weren't eating tacos, there were taquitos all around them. But you wouldn't want to eat these taquitos because instead of being stuffed with delicious pork, simmered for hours with cumin, garlic, and just the right amount of arbol chili pepper, they were stuffed with gunpowder. You see, a taquito was a piece of paper folded over and filled with gunpowder that the miners would stuff into a crack in the rock, light the paper, and then run like hell. And it's from the taquito that modern tacos got their name.
Wait.
But it wasn't until the late 1800s that the nickname taco started to stick.
Oh my. Okay. It started to stink.
Stick.
Stink.
Stick.
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 Steak. Okay. Steak tacos are my favorite. I'm not gonna lie.
Oui.
Chris, I would like your thoughts on Darren's slaughter of that.
Well,
that round.
I mean, basically, the only things he forgot to read off of the Taco Bell menu were the words "Bell" and the address of the store.
Ooh.
That was
I think
fighting.
that was a sick burn. I think.
Caliente.
We shall see.
Yeah, caliente. Yeah, exactly. Drew, please tell us what you think about that. I am fascinated. If that is true, I really love that story. If it is not, I really love that story.
Yeah, the shooting of fireworks. I that seems like they wouldn't have access to that. I would maybe just be shooting their guns. So that's like a little detail that I find like might be just over dramatizing what really happened. So.
Ooh, so would
Is
it
the
be fair
French
to say?
over-dramatizing? No.
Yeah, exactly. Would it be fair to say that you were actually making an accusation at this
I'm
time?
making right now I'm leaning towards that there's some bluffing going on.
There is. Okay, so I know. Ooh, this is getting good. Darren, you have been accused. What say you?
Oh, that's what I say.
Okay. Good reply. Very snappy and witty. What that actually ends up meaning is that we have one more person to go in this round. Drew, that would be you. So let's get you to the center screen and start at the boom whenever you are ready.
Okay, so on May 5th, 1904, Cy Young, pitching for the Boston Americans, threw a perfect game against the Philadelphia Athletics. He retired all 27 batters he faced, allowed no hits, no walks, no base runners, and Boston won the game 3-0. Now, I mentioned earlier that this is considered the first perfect game in the modern era. There were two other perfect games before this, both in 1878, where the rules were different. The pitcher's mound was 12 feet closer to home plate. Walks required 8 balls instead of 4, and pitchers were obliged to throw sidearm. The modern rules under which Cy Young pitched were established in 1893 and are pretty much still in use today. Cy went on to pitch a few more seasons. By the time 1911 came around, he was one of the oldest players in the league. He had started to gain weight, and his pitching skills were on the decline. So he retired with his wife, Roba, whom he had known since childhood, and they moved to a farm in Ohio where they planned on living out the rest of their days.
Wait, they moved to Ohio and planned on living out the rest of their days, indicating that might not have happened. So I'm
no.
intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
Another round
Is
to
there
go.
murder? Because I love that shit. So, Darren, your thoughts, please.
Well, he is segueing into my next segment. And I think the reason Cy Young was gaining so much weight was because of how popular tacos would become in the early 20th century.
Ooh, so there's a good use of your own story to support what may or may not be a bluff from Drew. Chris, your thoughts?
Well, what jumped out to me, especially because he keeps harping on the modern era, and then he talked about 8 balls. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're talking about the cocaine era in the 1980s. This is not Cy Young. So
That's
how pool was invented.
Wait a second.
It's fascinating to me that baseball goes back that far, and I'd like to know when they decided to put it on TV and make it the most boring Saturday afternoon of your life. They're fun to go to, but like on TV, I'm bored. So that means, you know what that means is we were completely heard of, from everybody in this round. So this means round 2 is over, which means that only one thing can happen now, and that leads us into round 3, right, Adam?
That's right. Here we go.
This is the round where the stakes are even higher because we're going to take another 15 seconds off the clock. You have only 45 seconds to wrap up your story. We are going to start right now with Chris.
All right, let's get Chris up to the middle block. Chris, your round begins now.
So, after the 1848 French Revolution, he escaped captivity and was nominated for the Constituent Assembly by some supporters. He won a seat, surprisingly became president, declared himself emperor, and disbanded the assembly. He lost the battle to Mexico shortly thereafter on the 5th of May in 1862, and he was humbled. Unlike his uncle who lost at Waterloo, he felt shame because of the loss to Mexico. He learned from this loss and began promoting himself to literally every group of the population by promising each group what they want. And he became all things to all men, effectively. He became wildly popular until he lost another big battle in 1870 to Germany, and he was captured. He was deposed 2 days later. The Germans released him to England in 1871 because he was now despised in France, and then he died a year later.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Totally in the
at least he didn't die in jail. He just was released to England. Some people think England is like jail. No, I'm just kidding. I love England, actually. So Darren, please, your thoughts on that final round of his story, which was in a much less thick accent.
It was, yes. He didn't offer all things to all people because he didn't offer them tacos. And why? Because they didn't exist yet. And that was his fatal flaw.
Oh, his fatal flaw. Drew, please, your thoughts on Chris's last round of his story. This is where it's make it or break it for for whether we're going to vote, who you're going to vote for, I guess.
I'm just glad Chris didn't start trying a German accent there at the end.
Yes, he brought in a lot of countries.
Yeah, but I thought the same thing. The French, they definitely did not get to enjoy any taquitos. So I feel bad for them.
Okay, so we're not necessarily saying that Chris is a bluff, but we are agreeing with Darren. Is that what I'm getting here?
I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay. As long as you're absolutely sure about that.
Check back in 3 months.
As a matter of fact, why don't we just have you go, and hopefully you know what you're saying about your own story. So
Come with
we'll
me,
bring you to the center square. You just start at the boom when you're ready. Oh, I mean, really at the boom, not when you're ready.
There we go.
Like a lot of players of his era, Cy Young had not been very good at managing his money. His wife died in 1933, and by 1940, he had lost his farm and was working at a different farm that provided him room and board. His only source of income was stock dividends of $300 per year. He did make some extra money here and there making appearances. Then in 1946, he was hired by the Mexican Baseball League to manage Tigres de Quintana in Cancun. It was clear to everyone that this was all for a show. The Mexican League was trying to reinvent itself after World War II, and they wanted a big name. And Cy needed the money and got to hang out in Cancun. The experiment only lasted 1 season because he didn't speak any Spanish. So he moved back to Ohio, became a farmhand, and died at the age of 88 in 1955.
Aw, those a really sweet end to the story. I love that his wife's name is Roba. In my opinion, that's either a really good tactic or it's true, and I'm not really sure just yet. Darren, please, what do you think about Drew's story?
Well, I think it's clear he lost all his money buying tacos. It's just they were so good, he spent all his money.
Yeah.
But I love how it's like a circular thing where like Mexico is like, thank you for buying all the tacos. We will have you manage our baseball team, and they bring him back home.
Yeah, like it was a really nicely bookended story. So
It would have been very well written if there wasn't a writer's strike right now.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
kudos to our writers. You go, people, because we like the stuff you do. Chris, what do you think about Drew's story there?
Drew's story that interestingly also another flag here. So you're saying he lost the farm? Is that what you're saying? He lost the farm? And this sounds very much like the Joe Louis story, and I think we will see this come to the big screen once the writer's strike is over in a story called A League of His Own, because this is a mashup of Joe Louis, A League of Their Own. Come on, and he lost the farm. What was the other one from before? I don't remember what it was, but okay, yeah. There's something about eight balls.
And then they also played in skirts. It was great. It was so great. Oh, so I think that Chris, if I'm not mistaken, that's an accusation.
Well, I still not yet.
No.
It's just casting doubt because I want to hear Darren's. I want to hear how many times Darren can say taco in round 3.
No,
okay.
I'll tell you one.
Chris has been the voice of doubt while Darren counts his stuff.
At
Let's
least
get him to
6.
the center square. Darren, you are going to finish off the show for us with your final round of your story about that tacos may or may not have existed.
I've got a present for Darren. There's a beret. Oh, it's kind of big. Sorry about the giant beret. I didn't have time to scale it while I'm live teching a show.
I mean, Darren can literally duck and still be inside of it.
You could. Can you? No.
Wait.
Wait.
Here you go.
Okay, that's better. There we go.
All right, for those listening along, there is now a cartoon beret over Darren, and Darren, let's take it home.
Around 1905, Mexican women start running food carts in Los Angeles, serving, among other things, tacos. The women become known as chili queens, and Americans really dig into this exotic foreign cuisine. But the tacos they serve don't look much like today's tacos. Pig heart, anyone? Beef tripe? The taco that you and I think of today didn't really show up until the 1920s when the chili queens start fusing their cuisine with locally available California ingredients like ground beef, fresh sour cream, cheddar cheese, and lettuce. Oh, and that U-shaped hard taco shell we all know, that wasn't invented until Taco Bell came along in 1962.
Wow.
There's your Taco Bell, Chris.
There it is.
All right, Darren, did I cut you off? Was there anything more you wanted to add or say at the end of your?
That's it.
That's it. All right, Drew, your thoughts. Let's go.
Chili Queens is weird. I feel like that sounds like a baseball team from a league of their own.
Yeah, it does.
But so that just seems kind of made up. And then like Taco Bell invented the hard taco. I don't know. That seems too good to be true.
Oh, I don't know what is true and what isn't anymore, but I know that if that is true, though, that was like the first fusion restaurant right there on the street. How fun!
So, like, you're a foodie if you go to Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly. Chris, please, your last thoughts on Darren's thing, and then you can make an accusation if you want. I mean, it's up to you.
Well,
You've got all the facts now.
He's talking about the birth of the food truck industry, as Drew pointed out. Chili Queens. I hear a theme song for these food trucks that's kind of a riff on Mississippi Queen. Just call it Chili Queen. And then I'm also skeptical that Taco Bell invented the hard shell taco in 1962. Interestingly, there's a tie-in between their two stories because the New York Mets set the record for the brand new New York Mets 1962 expansion team set the record for most losses in Major League Baseball in 1962. Probably because they ate too many tacos.
They were all fat. Yeah.
Wow, I like how Chris may be throwing some
together.
facts out about other stories to take the fact off of the fact that he might be the bluff. All I know is that the round tracker above my head is full, which means we have come to the part of the show where all of the actors now can tell us who they really think is bluffing, what they thought. They can ask questions, whatever they want to do. So I'm going to start in this order. So Drew, let us go with you. Who do you think is the bluff, and/or do you have questions before you decide?
Yeah, no questions. I both stories had some weird facts that just seemed kind of too good to be true. But
That's the point of the show.
2 rounds ago,
True.
good point. 2 rounds ago, I was leaning towards Darren, and I'm still gonna stick with. I think Darren is bluffing the Taco Bell hard shell taco thing at the end there really kind of sealed it for me.
I will say that was like the nail in the coffin for you. Okay, I got you. Chris, please, who do you think is bluffing, and/or do you have questions?
I have a lot of questions. Specifically, who's your lead writer that came up with those jokes at the beginning of the show, Gina? That's my biggest question. This is a tough one, man, because I really have holes in both of their stories in my notes here. Drew throwing out, the cliche lost the farm, the Joe Louis story, a guy, guys at the top of his pinnacle of his sport, and then he lost everything, and then he becomes the drinking coach in like a league of their own, but only in Mexico. and then Darren's talking about, first of all, he mentioned, I think 1962 times he mentioned the word taco. But he never talked about the Chihuahua, interestingly. So
That's what was in the earlier tacos.
Oh no! Along
Or-
with the tripe and the heart. Yeah.
Because I know that the Mexican people did celebrate the Battle of 1862 at Puebla, where a vastly outnumbered Mexican army beat the French and started this celebration of Cinco de Mayo. I'm going to say that Drew is bluffing.
I did not see that coming. So Chris has voted for Drew now. I also would like to point out that I just realized it was 100 years from the battle to Taco Bell's corn tortilla. Yes, mind blown. Darren, you have not had a chance to guess. So we now have 1 vote for Darren, 1 vote for Drew. And so don't let that influence you, because I just want to know what you really think.
Well, to Chris's point, the quality of the puns at the top of the show illustrates why we need a writer's strike and the effects that it has on
I'm
us
offended.
all.
I am highly offended. That is.
Oh, she's gone, and she's she's on the picket line.
Yeah.
But as far as who I think's bluffing, like Chris's story was all about a bunch of Napoleons who lived in France and Italy, and then one of them went to Mexico.
Is that
Like,
going to
just
be one of the
gently? By the way, the show's about Mexico. Yeah, he went to Mexico.
I feel like that's a show we're going to get. They do the writer's strike as a bunch of Napoleons. Thursday nights on NBC.
And
A
it's
bunch of
just all that
Napoleon.
guy from Napoleon Dynamite.
It's just him.
Interestingly enough, your tacos were like dynamite. Oh, what? This is
They
crazy.
were. The taquitos were filled with gunpowder. So
Connection.
I think Chris is bluffing.
Whoa, so
Wow.
we literally have a 3-way tie. That means
Wow.
everybody has voted for one person. And I forgot to tell our viewers and listeners at the top of the show that the only person who actually knows is our tech Adam. So I am going to actually move myself out of the feed right now because it is time for our bluff for tonight to be revealed. Adam, take it away.
All right, I've got it. Let's line up our suspects. All right, ladies and gentlemen, was your bluff tonight? Was it Drew? Or was your bluff Chris? Or was your bluff Darren? I have the truth, the sacred truth, And I'm going to reveal it now. The bluff this whole time has been Drew. Well done. You only had one vote against you, Drew. I think that is a fantastic testament to the bluffing.
Thank you.
And Drew, I would like to say that the only thing your story made me want to do is go do laundry with all those eras. Jeez.
Wait. Did you just make another bad? Did you really?
No, it was a good pun, Adam. Shut your face.
Tomato for you. We haven't seen the tomato in a while.
That's better than a trombone. I feel very good.
That's true.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That was great, Drew. Fantastic stories tonight. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody in America who celebrates. As they understand, Mexico doesn't really celebrate this holiday, but hey, kudos if you're Mexican American. Woohoo! Happy day on Saturday, Friday it is.
That's right.
But thank you for coming out to History Bluffs. We're here on Twitch. We are on any place where you get your podcasts. We are on YouTube live stream every Wednesday at 7:30. Please like and subscribe us, share it, tell your friends. And we've been History Bluffs. I hope you have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
You heard her. We will be back next week. Same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Tune in. We'll see you then.